And welcome once again to another fantastic edition of Constructing New Walden City. My name is Dr. Wasabi, and in today's episode, we are in the lovely food court. It's a glorious morning, if I do say so myself. Last episode, we finished up the robot renting store, which I think is a really good build, but now we are in the food court where we are next to the fountain. Now, for those of you who do not know, or for those who are new to the series, this was a build I did quite a while ago. It's a few episodes back. I'm still very proud of it. It's a very good build, in my opinion. But we are actually not focusing on the fountain itself. And the sun has shrank there. We are actually focusing on the underneath of said fountain, where we are actually going to be building a metro. Yes, I have been thinking a lot about the kind of infrastructure of the city itself, because I want this to be a lot more planned out than previous attempts at cities, so Walden City 1.0 and so on and so forth. So that is what we're going to be doing today, a metro. I think we should be able to get the train tunnel done this episode, get a nice station up and running. I've done some prior work to the overall interior itself underground. So I think without further ado, let's go see what we've done. And we are back and inside the metro. So, this is the opening room to the metro. We came through these double doors, which is followed by a rather grand staircase, which goes up to the fountain itself. I always thought this was a really nice design feature. Overall, we did this a few episodes ago, actually when the fountain was built. I really liked the idea of having a staircase wrap around the overall foundations of the fountain itself. It really gave it some personality, in my opinion. So let's run down to see what we've done so far. Again, this was a lot of pre-planned stuff, and there is a big reason for that. And the reason for that is a lot of these subway builds, they require immense planning, not only for the color concept, the design, the blocks you're going to use, because most likely this design is going to follow into other metro stations across the map, which is very important, because if we get this wrong, then we're going to have to change it. All the interiors, it'll be an absolute mess, folks. So it's better to get a pre-plan over here and then kind of spread out as we go along. So here we have a opening room. So this is where you go inside. There's some seating areas. Of course, we've got a wonderful glow pop vending machine for you to quench your thirst. And over here we have the entrance to the ticket office. Now, you know, employees will go through here. They've got a divider in between this large room. We've got some file cabinets. Again, it's very utilitarian design, which I wanted to express. I didn't want it to be too sterile like a hospital, so we added some color like this dark prismarine, which I think really goes well against the light grey concrete and the clay blocks. So we got ourselves a nice little table for, you know, for playing files and general transit documents and the like. We have ourselves a little ticket booth where people can ask for tickets, put them in the cash register for the currency, and then they get handed a small ticket or coin. In Fallout, it was like a little chip or coin that they would use, something along those lines. So there we go. We have some more file cabinets over here and a ventilation machine, because, you know, sometimes it might get quite hot in these offices, especially during the summer. So, you know, some AC never hurt. Okay, so, well, across the room from here, if we go on the other side of the ticket office, we have these lovely escalators and elevators. So this is the escalator and this is the elevator, and my tongue is going to be so tied by saying these two at the same time. So this is for, let's say you can't go down the escalator, you have some crutches, or you're in a wheelchair, anything like that, you can take the left and go down to the train station. Anything like that, you got to think very, not carefully, but you got to make sure everything's accompanied for in the metro. So we have ourselves some nice bathrooms. Again, these are identical, going into the entire kind of utilitarian design that we're going for here. A lovely kind of spruce doors and very minimalist toilets, which I quite like. So, leaving the bathrooms, we go down the escalator. Now, the reference images I have, well, collected, I should say, for this kind of interior do come a lot from Fallout 4 and Fallout 3, because they had some great subway and metro, not interiors, but cells, interior cells, which you could go inside and explore. Because a lot of gameplay did rest on these massive underground structures, which you could explore and clear out. So some of this design did inspire from that. This is more of a take on the Fallout 3 type metro with the long winding halls and so on and so forth. And that is a very spooky noise. Hopefully we don't get ambushed down here. So if we follow the corridor, we get met by a huge black void, and that is not intentional, folks. This is that we haven't excavated that far. So if I put on my night vision potion, we'll see that we've made a bit of a hole, but nothing just yet. And this is where the overall train station is going to be. We're going to excavate a huge layer of earth, essentially, just to put in the overall metro, the train tunnel, of course the lifts and whatnot. So that's what we're going to be doing next, which I think we'll do for a time lapse. So yeah, I think without further ado, let's get on with our time lapse. And we are back from our time lapse, and I must say, after a fair bit of excavating, explosives, and well, just digging in general, we have managed to get out a general shape for our subway station. Now, I've already started doing the general interior because, as I've said before, planning is very important. If you get it wrong here, you get it wrong everywhere. So what I've done essentially is I've dug out this huge square. And what the initial design I'm thinking is either we have two stations on either side and then a rail in the middle, or we just have this station, a train tunnel, and then maybe some utilities on the other side. Because I want to make sure that this space actually gets used. I don't have to fill in this part of the the side of the excavated area. So one thing we actually do need to do is actually dig down, and the reason for that is if you go to any general subway station, they will say the same thing. Well, they won't say, but you will basically be able to get the general design. They have this always depressed part of the station, which is for the train, and it kind of arrives on a rail or a you usually have some kind of connecting cable at the top, depending. Of course, this is different technology, so it might be a bit different. But the general focus of the design is the overall rail is lower than the platform itself, and that's to prevent accidents and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let me just get some stone. So we're going to fill out this part of the station. So if I do this /command, sorry /fill, like so, just putting in the numbers. Okay, and on the other side, so how wide do you want this to be? So it needs to be 3 in length, I think, because we have to fit a train in here at some point. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's 9 wide. So we already filled in that space. So all we need to do now is bring it all the way up here, like so. Oh, excuse me, got a bit of a dry voice. Right, fill in this, and this with air. And there we go, we have our part of the station for the overall train tunnel. Now, we could move this around somewhat. We still have plenty of extra space. So what I think I might do is add in some lighting here, put in the general kind of train station, vibe, so to speak, with the rails and the train and the utility tunnels and things like that. And then we can get decorating in this general part of the station. And then we get another potion of night vision. Because, as I said before, I do need to put lighting in here. It is very dark, which is one of the drawbacks of making stuff underground. You need to constantly light stuff up. I cannot imagine what this would be like in survival. Could you imagine just zombies after zombies just pelting you as you try to build? No, thank you. So that's what I'm going to do. So I think I'll be right back after a short intermission. And we are back after that short intermission. Now, what I've done essentially, I haven't done much, but I managed to fill in this part of the kind of hole we made with a lot of gravel, and that was the best kind of material I think is good for the train tunnel, because I don't know why they put gravel underneath train tracks. Perhaps there's some scientific explanation for it, but a lot of the reference images that I found had a lot of these tracks having, gravel, a lot of small stone pebbles, those kind of things. So I thought that'd be a really nice design for the overall floor texture for the tracks itself. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to get some andesite, because I don't want it just to be one block per se. So we're just going to lightly texture the gravel with some andesite. Not too much, just kind of peppering it around. Okay, how does that look? Really good. Okay, so we'll keep doing this. Like so. What we can do now is, on an even rarer block placement, we can use, where is it? Some light grey concrete powder, I think. Yes, very nice. And this adds a bit of edge texture to the gravel and andesite, which I think goes well together. Well together well. Excuse me, I might be having a moment. Yeah, so just putting down the concrete powder like so. Now that looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it, folks? So the last thing we need to do really is just to put down the overall track itself. Now on my old world we had a nice little design for these, where we'd basically put down a anvil, and ignoring that scary cave sound, we'll just put a line all the way down the middle of the track. Now of course we will excavate further as we expand it into different stations, but just for now we'll leave it as is. So, ignoring the sound, folks, we're going to be placing this all the way along, like so, until we reach the end. Now, how does that look? Really good. Okay, now, the second thing we need to do is add some, I would say, stone, something that, something that is a bit darker than the gravel texture, just to make it stand out, but not too dark as to make it look bold. So let me swig some more night vision potion, like so, and we can get to work. So I think something along the lines of not exactly clay. Yeah, we'll do cyan terracotta. Like that looks good. So like so, just placing this along next to the anvils. And this is to kind of make a somewhat track design, but because this is in a metro and not actually a overworld train track, so you know, usually you'll just have wood and anvils, and then there you got your train track. But because these operate on a slightly different standard, because they are underground, some of them are by cable or by track, a lot of them require electrics. We're just gonna tinker around and see what we can do. Okay, that looked good. Now, the final step for the track itself is something which I think is a bit of a hit and miss for a lot of things. So one thing we're going to do is get some rails and place them atop the cyan terracotta that we've made here. And this both acts as a practical source of transport. Let's say in your survival and this world gets uploaded, you can always use this design of track for actual minecarts, which I think is a really cool feature. They did the same thing in the Fallout mashup pack. They made it so you could ride the minecart down tunnels and get to different places on the map, which I thought was a really, really neat idea in and of itself. So yeah, so that is our train tunnel. Well, not the tunnel, but the overall track finished, I'd say. So all we need to do now is do the overall arcing roof and the other side. So what we're going to do now is just fill in this with stone brick, the same as what we've done on this side, like so. A lot of this will be slightly monotonous, folks. Again, with underground builds, it happens. I'm content, but I think it's going to look really good by the end of this, folks. I've got a feeling. Just bringing this along, so we got some stone brick stairs, just matching the design we have on the other side. So, did I tell you about this? Yeah, so we have a tunnel size calibrated. This is from Molten City 1.0. Again, we're not copying everything from the city, but there are some things we can bring over, like certain tunnel sizes, because they were calibrated to monorails, which I think is a really neat idea, so I might be adding some of them in there. You know, you never know, folks. Everything's possible with the passage of time. So I think what we'll do over here is add the same design. So if we just copy this like so. Now, this is not a perfect circle, however, it does suit our purposes. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, right, so, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we'll just fill in this part of the stone, like so. Oh. And there we go. There's that part of the tunnel finished. So what I think I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to do the roof. It's essentially going to be the same as this design here, but without the lights. Also, I forgot to tell you about the lights. Yes. So we actually have put in some light fixtures in here. I decided not to go with the general design in the tunnels because I don't want it to be too monotonous as to not be entertaining, so to speak. Because you want to draw your attention to it somewhat. It has to be somewhat stylish, in my opinion. However, you do have to make it somewhat utilitarian. So it's a bit of a balance, I think. So yeah, I have changed the lighting fixtures. We have the elevator, which perfectly lines up with the elevators on the second floor, which is something I really wanted to achieve here, just to kind of connect these two layering interiors. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the roof of the overall track with this kind of design here, build the utilities, and then we can get on to decorating. So I think without further ado, I'll see you after this brief intermission. And we are back after that brief intermission, folks. So what I've essentially done here, you may notice that it's a bit darker. That's because we put in some lighting, so we don't need to really use night vision potions. And I just love how this has came along. I'll actually put on a night vision potion so you can see the overall roof of the subway. But I've essentially done the same thing over here, but done it in a more ridge design. It was very similar to what I did in previous attempts at subway making, but it's a lot more compact and copyable, which is the overall utilitarian design that I wanted to go for. Okay, let's get some milk. There we go. So what we're going to do now is do some decorating of this platform, because it's a bit empty, it's a bit barren. Of course, we've got the utility section over there, which I'll show in a bit. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to get some seating down here, because you can imagine a lot of people are going to be sat down here waiting for their train to arrive, and then jump off, and then jump off, all of that stuff. So I think we'll do a seating arrangement over here. So over here, just like so. Or actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll shorten it by one block on either side, and then I can do it like so. Make it double length. There we go. I'll put some on here as well, and there's a somewhat vague, well, no, not vague, let me rephrase that. There is a reason why I'm putting more on this side than that side, and the reason for that is because I want to actually make a route into the utility section, perhaps by some stairway that leads to under the track or over the track, something like that. But I want the entrance to it to be over there somewhere, so I'm leaving that somewhat open, although we will decorate over there. It just depends if we move stuff around and stuff like that. So using some acacia trapdoors, we're just adding the edges to these seats over here. We don't need to be too over the top. Like so. Just adding some more stuff. Now what we will do in terms of wall decorations is doing something with dark prismarine stairs. And let me bring it up. Yeah, some cyan glazed terracotta. Now, this was a design I found on Hive Games. You'll be able to find the moment on which I actually got the idea. It was on Wednesday stream, I think. And there were some wonderful wall designs in the block drop lobby. And I thought, hey, these would look great as subway signs, because I did put on these lovely kind of light fixtures over here. And the original idea was that I was going to make some advertisements like they would on the Fallout 3 metro tunnels. So what I'm essentially going to do is put in some stairs like so. Put in some glazed terracotta like that. Bring in some stone stairs like so. Some light blocks for lighting, of course. And there we go. So we're going to do these on the sides of the walls. Not symmetrically, I think, but we'll just do them sparingly. Like so. And what it does, it adds a bit of texture and story to the overall walls of the section. I might put in different glazed terracotta, because it's a nice way of putting in texture and images without actually putting anything specific. So if you want to put an advertisement, but it's a bit too small for anything, really, you can always put in a nice fancy complicated texture, and that kind of acts as an image by itself. So perhaps it's a unique advertisement or something like that. So what else are we going to do? Well, we're actually going to put in some vending machines, because I'll be honest with you folks, I have seen these everywhere in Fallout. There's a vending machine on every corner, every metro you can think of. So we're just going to spawn in some vending machines like so. I have a savable model of the glow pop vending machine, so we're going to spawn some in here, and they're already fully packed full of delicious glow pop. So there we go. Put another one here. And there we go. We've got some lovely vending machines over here. I'm not going to put them on this side because I think what I'll do is I'll make a nice planter. Like so. So we'll get some... what material could we actually use for this? Let us see. Maybe some white concrete? No. We can use red terracotta because that is the overall material which we did use over here. Now let's see how that looks. Actually, you know what? No, that's not a good idea. I think I think if I do anything like that, I'll do it on the kind of like final kind of rundown of the metro itself. So yeah, is there anything else I need to add for this general interior? I don't think so. We could add some actually, yeah, we could add some ventilation, similar to what we did in the ticket booth. So let me just get out some blocks of iron, some furnaces, and some oak trap doors. Where are they? There we go. So I'll put these on the side here, like so. Blocks of iron, a furnace, and of course some oak trap doors. And there we go. So what I'm going to do now, folks, is I think I'll put the kind of final touches on the interior of this place. Perhaps make an entrance to the utility tunnel. If not, I'll kind of make a room for it, decorate it, and then we can go on to our kind of final little showcase of what we've done for this episode. So I'll be right back after this brief intermission. And we are back from that brief intermission, folks. Now, before I show you anything at all, I just want to say, if you do like what I do, if you like my content, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Doing so helps spread my channel amongst the blessed YouTube algorithm. And of course, it helps spread my content to you amazing, just fantastic folks. So here we go. You may notice that we are not on the side of the station, and that is correct. We are on the utility side of the station. This is where technicians will go to solve problems with the wiring, things like that, the track, anything technical. You go onto this side of the track, and we've made a special entrance to this side as well, but you'll see that in a second. On terms of design, this is purposefully bare. I was trying to find the words there, but yeah, it is lightly decorated, and there is a reason for that. Unlike the seating platform over there, this has a very singular purpose. This is literally for maintenance, so you only need the bare essentials. This is public transport, so every penny counts, so to speak. So we got some tool cabinets over here. You'll get your wrenches, your welding tools, things like that, along with some AC. And the kind of creme de la creme of metro interiors is this, the power generator room. Now, this is something that I was inspired to build from playing Fallout. You'd have these huge generator rooms in the metros, subways, or general underground areas of the map, and these would just be stacked on top of each other, like 10 generators at a time, just fueling the building or the interior with power or backup power if need be. And I thought that was a really nice detail to put in here, because it kind of adds the story to the general building up of infrastructure in the world itself, which is of course very important, because this is a city. It needs all the stuff it can get. So if we go down the corridor from the generator room, we go into the general entrance from the civilian platform. We go underneath the tracks. I did try to build upwards, but that was not a good idea, because I actually broke into the opening entrance of the metro itself, so I decided not to do that. So going underneath the track and back upstairs, we go onto the normal platform, which of course is a lot more decorated. I actually managed to get a general design for the bushes over here. It was actually quite simple. We had a lot of stone textures, so I used something a bit different. I used smooth stone, which I think looks really good compared to contrasting against the other blocks as well. Now, if we go down the general corridor, this has been laid intentionally bare so it allows space for people to walk back and forth to the platform and to up the escalator as well. I have switched out the, what's it called? Is it sea lanterns? That's the word. I was I was trying to find the it was on the tip of my tongue. Yes, I replaced the sea lanterns with some nice cyan glazed terracotta and some different glazed terracottas, because I think it's a really nice design for an advertisement. If you can't really find of anything to advertise, some nice kind of complicated textures will kind of imitate advertisements, which I think is a really nice design feature. Like, credit to whoever designed that on the Hive server. Honestly, fantastic. So there we go, episode 38 of constructing New Walden City. I think we've done a very good job over here. Some fantastic builds. It needed to be done in general. The metro is a very important part of the city. So there we go. If you like what I do, of course, please like and subscribe to the channel. My name has been Dr. Wasabi. I wish you a most pleasant good evening. And of course, as always, God bless.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.